radioisotopes have many purposes. One of its largest and most influential purpose is for the production of energy. Energy is needed for our everyday lives, and having radioisotopes in our possession makes creating energy more time and money efficient. In Canada, most energy created is nuclear, and a reactor is needed to create this specific type of energy. The CANDU is a Canadian-designed nuclear reactor system which uses an isotope of uranium, being uranium-235. The reactor uses uranium oxide pellets to fuel it, and uses a process of nuclear fission to produce energy. The uranium oxide pellets are placed in fuel bundles and are placed into the reactor vessel. From here, nuclear fission occurs, in which a slow neutron is hit against its nucleus, which as a result creates two smaller nuclei, and release a wave of thermal energy. This also causes more neutrons to be released, but these neutrons are at a much higher speed, a speed in which nuclear fission is unable to occur. Moderators are used to regulate these neutrons and bring them to a slow speed. In the CANDU, heavy water, which is water containing deuterium instead of hydrogen, is used as a moderator for these neutrons as well as a cooler for the fuel bundles. The heat of the heavy water also boils ordinary water, causing for the steam to power a turbine, leading to the creation of electricity.
Although this is an efficient way of creating electricity, as it saves a lot of money, it isn't the best for the environment, as the fuel rods, after being removed from the reactor, are highly more radioactive than they first were. The disposal of this can cause contamination in water, leading to illness and possible death. Here's a story about a man named Alexander Litvienko, which shows how radioisotopes aren't exactly the best for humans.
Hello everyone, my name is Alexander Litvienko, and I was a long-time adversary of the Russian president, so basically, I was a spy. I worked alongside the government for multiple years, until I was exiled to the UK because of my behavior on a task. I was sent to the UK to start a new life.
Everything was fine. I got a stable job and was enjoying my life. I made new friends and I made something good out of a bad situation which I was placed in. Everything was going fine until I received a call from a couple of my co-workers when I worked as an adversary. They called me saying they were in town and wanted to meet up at a cafe so we could drink some tea like we did back in the day.
We were all enjoying our time until the waitress brought us our tea. I took one sip of it, weeks went by, close to months, and the last thing I remember was walking across the road only to feel dizzy and faint. The next thing I remember was lying on a stretcher and being dragged across the hospital halls.
According to reports, the tea I had was contaminated with polonium-210, and it was my coworkers that had tampered with my drink. According to reports, the polonium-210 in my system had an effect and turned my skin a bright yellow. It also made my liver dysfunctional, and eventually my hair began to fall out. When you ingest polonium-210, 50 to 90% of it gets released from your body as feces, but the remaining get an open access to your bloodstream, organs, and your bone marrow. This leads to polonium poisoning, which is about as bad as being in the final stage of cancer. So after this, in a few days, or maybe a week if you're lucky, you'll die.